you have to play clean against the top 10 team. We did not do that, and we got what you deserve in a game like that. If you don't play smart football, if you don't play clean, you're going to get what you deserve. So hats off to Tennessee. The great part about it is you get to flip the script and get back to work, which we do that today.
Hello and welcome into Tigers Roar. I am Jonathan Poche, joined as always by the Bud Man, Buddy Songy, here from Old School Barbecue. We have the glasses on. Obviously, LSU drops a tough game this past Saturday at home. It was an 11 a.m. morning kickoff. The student section was packed. The crowd was ready. Everybody was anticipating a good game, and then the wheels kind of fell off right there at the beginning. Two special teams blunders, starting with Jack Bech opening kickoff. Tennessee takes into the score. You spot a top 10 team, 10 points in the first quarter of the game. It's not going to go well, especially with all the speed of that Tennessee offense. Welcome in the Bud Man. I know he has a lot of takes on this Tuesday evening, once again from Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, a great place to check out some great barbecue. TVs all over the wall, great prices on the food. Bring the whole family. Old School Barbecue. Bud Man, 40-13 was the final. Didn't start off well. The Tigers knew going into this game they had to be an absolutely or almost perfect start in order for them to compete. Had to score some points, fell behind early, and Tennessee, Hendon Hooker was just too much for the Tigers.
Yeah, I had the cautious nervousness, not the cautious optimism, because we knew it was going to be a tough game. But once again, the same problems. This is becoming a little too commonplace for the LSU coaches, football team, and fans. And that is digging a hole and getting these deficits. Florida State, Mississippi State, Auburn, and now in your home stadium. Yep. We knew it. We said it. 11:02 kickoff. The last thing you want to do is get behind. Tennessee fans came in big numbers, I think second only to Georgia and 18 when they had 20. I'm hearing 15 to 18,000 Tennessee people were in there. I don't know if that's accurate. I was in the stadium. I was in 18, and no, Georgia brought that many. But there are a lot of questionable coaching decisions and a lot of questionable plays that the guys have made far too often. And as we started off, a lot of personnel questions. And look, I hate to start off on a negative note, but you got a kickoff guy that runs 4.7. Jack Bech shouldn't be receiving kickoffs. Malik Neighbors should be back there. He's the most explosive guy. He was going to be catching punts. He fumbled 2 punts. As you know, JP, kickoffs have a little bit more distance, a little more trajectory. I'd like to see Neighbors get back in there. No disrespect to 80. Yep. He's trying his best. But and then you get into the quarterback. Then you get into the game plans. Then you get into all of the fourth down tries, which I am usually a fan of.
Yep.
But when you are working from a deficit and you're down 10-0 and they're calling plays the way they're calling plays, you probably should have taken the field goal there. You certainly should have punted before halftime. That all being said, look, we all have bad days. Everybody knows. Everybody up there listening, you've had plenty of bad days. The difference is that Brian Kelly's bad day and LSU football players' bad day is magnified because it's in front of millions.
Right.
Me and you might have 50 people that see us screw up. We see millions when LSU has a bad game. But let's give Tennessee a lot of credit. I loved what they did on offense. I thought that they had a great game plan, and they just whipped LSU up and down the field, out-coached them, out-played them, out-cheered them. And so let's give a lot of credit to Tennessee. But now with the injury bug, you got to hold on. And the last thing you need to do is give up on your football team. But have your rosary beads around and say a couple of extra prayers that they can get some of these guys back. We'll give you an update at the end of the show about Will Campbell. I'm hearing more and more positive about him being out the hospital, back home, and possibly playing this weekend. But, JP, another this will be the seventh game. This will probably be the sixth different lineup at the O-line. Miles Frazier is the only guy that started every game at the offensive line. But, look, it is a rebuild, and we'll go from there.
LSU goes to Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, Gainesville, Florida, to take on the Florida Gators this Saturday, 6 o'clock kick. That game is on ESPN, so it doesn't get any easier for LSU. Of course, Billy Napier, former ULL head coach, is over at Florida now. They got a great quarterback headed by a great run game. Coach Brian Kelly knows Florida wants to run the football. It's going to be squarely on that defense in order to kind of shorten up that game with those offensive possessions. LSU needs to get off the field on defense. Harold Perkins was the question. I know you talked about personnel a little bit. Why wasn't 40 on the field a lot? But Coach Brian Kelly assures the Tiger fans out there that this is a game set up for Harold Perkins. He was going to be way too wide against this Tennessee lineup, how they set their formations on the field. You brought up their system, both with the speed and how they line up formations. They were able to get those matchups that they wanted, and that's a very good system, and Josh Heupel's done a very good job building up that offense. And Hendon Hooker, he's going to be in the Heisman talk at the end of the year. He certainly showed why this past Saturday. But LSU turns the page to Florida. We're also going to talk some NFL. Some New Orleans Saints finally get off the schneid. They had dropped 3 in a row, but they beat the Seahawks in the Superdome. We'll talk about that game. Taysom Hill had a big showing for the Houdat's. So did Cam Jordan. Kind of threw the crow right in my face. I was kind of talking bad about Cam the whole week, but he showed up in a big way for the Saints. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more here. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take our first break here on Tigers Roar. But first, remind you guys, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Go ahead and click the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time we post something new. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Tigers Roar.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Your favorite season is back, and now's the time you can score savings at the Team Automotive Group. You can sell your vehicle to us, and we'll pay you top value. Or buy here and get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Score VIP service and save at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Look up to the skies, I see
we continue here on Tigers Roar. LSU's record now sits at 4-2, 2-1 in the SEC after dropping a game to the Tennessee Volunteers. 40-13 was the final. But, man, Jaden Daniels threw for 32 of 45, 300 yards for the offense. So that was a bright side, but he only rushed for 55 yards, completely lopsided. A lot of those yards were when, it was cleanup time, when LSU was just trying to get the ball downfield. Tennessee was in, the prevent drop-back defense. So the passing numbers were a little bit inflated. LSU's offense has to get going, but, man, 2 sluggish of starts in every single game.
Yeah, and look, you can't just put your finger on one thing. I know a lot of people want Jaden Daniels to throw the ball and a little bit better. I thought he actually released the football and made some better throws. 32 of 45. The week before, of course, you passed for under 100. This past game, you run for under 100. You want to be balanced. But it's not just Daniels. It's everybody.
Right.
It's the O-line. It's the play calling. It's the wide receivers. It's everybody. And right now, you just have to go back to work. Look, you got to have a short memory, whether you're a football coach or player. And this is a very winnable game. Florida struggled with Missouri, so they are very beatable. LSU has beaten Florida the last 3 times, and everybody will never forget the last time what happened in the swamp, the shoe toss. I hate to say it, but that's Cole Taylor's biggest highlight as an LSU
certainly.
Tiger right now, is to have that toss, and then Cade York making the 57-yarder in the fog and LSU winning that game. But they won the last 3, and we hope that they can start a little bit better. You can't keep digging yourself that kind of hole. If you get down 10-0, 13-3, whatever, Florida's going to line up and run the football, and I don't know if LSU can play with them at the line of scrimmage this weekend, JP.
Well, we do have some highlights from this past Saturday. We'll ask AT, who's doing a great job in the truck, to go ahead and roll those. We'll continue the conversation about LSU, Tennessee from this past Saturday. Appreciate that. And, of course, it started early. Here's the opening kickoff into the sun. Can't really explain what happened to Jet Bass. It was a really short kick, high trajectory. He fumbles it. Of course, Tennessee recovers. But, man, not the start LSU needed.
They go right down the field and walk in, so it is 7-0. And, of course, Brian Kelly says, look, we wanted to have an extra possession. Here's a nice play and a first down.
Yeah, this is Jack Bass getting going. LSU would eventually go for it on 4th down in this drive, down by 10. It was a play to Kayshawn Booty, where Booty fell down behind the line of scrimmage. He got knocked down, I should say. Got up. He thought he extended the ball far enough for a first down. Here comes the play right here. A tough break, 4th and 4
Watch
in the
Booty
scoring
right
zone.
here, though. He runs into Emory Jones. It's the craziest thing. There he is on the ground, gets back up. And, of course, Booty, once again, was not able to get it. Look, nothing is going smoothly on offense.
The Tennessee would eventually turn it to points. Here you go 13-0, and they're winding up for another deep shot. And that was a common theme for that Tennessee offense. Catch them off guard before they're ready, before they're set, and throw it deep.
Did LSU hook up on a deep ball? Here's once again Jaden Daniels getting swamped. Tennessee had 5 sacks. LSU had 0, but more disconcerting, LSU only had 1 quarterback hurry and 1 tackle for loss. Here's another sack for Jaden Daniels.
In the scoring zone, too, bud, man. I mean, between the 20s, and here's a ball just doesn't bounce your way.
That's the luck right there.
Yeah,
Can you believe that?
Greg Books, a great hit on the quarterback. The ball comes free. Of course, it bounces right to a Tennessee Volunteer, and he takes it for a first down. You get the flag. They were going to call, I believe, targeting on this play, bud, man, but it was waved off.
Yeah, that was a crazy call.
So here we go. LSU back on offense. Jaden Daniels gets complete to the outside. Here's what I'll talk about. Brian Thomas, a short pass, but run after the catch. He does a great job with that. He has all year.
Need more of that. Get the ball out quicker. I don't know why they're not throwing. Here's a good quick right here. And, of course, I thought that kid scored right there. I don't know if you did. I thought he got in the end zone. Of course, they run up, and Josh Williams piles right in. Let's see if he gets in the end zone on the replay.
See, I saw the ball in his left arm. His shoulder gets down, but like you said, Josh Williams from 1 yard out, or half a yard out, he punches it in. Outside of Jaden Daniels, who had the LSU only had 55 total rush yards. Jaden Daniels by himself accounted for 38 of those yards. So the LSU running backs were pretty much held in check, and LSU was trying to catch up the rest of the game.
And you saw the blitz, and once again getting into the secondary. Man, I tell you what, when the ESPN analyst is drawing a big circle talking about a hole in that defense, LSU's got to get better play from the safeties. Joe Fouché, Sage Ryan, all those guys got to play better. But it's a banged-up roster right now, and here's another sack.
This is right before halftime, bud, man. Right here, I agree with you. You had to punt the ball. You gave Tennessee an opportunity to run 2 plays and get points for the half. The 23-7 going into halftime. You got to punt right there, bud, man. Taking a sack is unacceptable.
If you take the field goal and all that, so once again, LSU having a little bit of, once again, success on the outside. And here is Daniels once again. Man, he made some throws at time, but not consistent enough. And play calling not helping him. And, oh, by the way, you got a patchwork and patched up offensive line.
Here's the first touchdown to Keyshawn Boutte of the season. He was wide open in the back of the end zone. Had to make an acrobatic catch, get a foot down. They're happy for number 7 because Coach said he's been doing all the little things correct. He's not really complaining. He's happy that the team's been winning, even though he hasn't been very productive. But that's a little bit hard of a catch for a guy wide open in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, not a great throw. Once again, LSU trying to – and they played hard on defense, JP. Yep. They forced 2 or 3 fumbles, but every time it went right to the Tennessee player. Once again, a pass out in the flat and letting the guys run, in space. So it was a nightmare. Tennessee, I thought Josh Heupel and the Tennessee staff, they owned LSU. Yep. Now, here's the big question, folks. Is this a square peg in a round hole with the offensive play calling and philosophy? And are you happy with the utilization of talent? Because I'm seeing more emphasis thrown at a tight end than the wide receivers. You got to get it to 11. You got to get it to 7. You got to get it to 8. You got to let them make plays. And yet we saw Jaden Daniels 4 or 5 times stand back there 4 or 5 seconds and can't find anybody. So it's not an easy fix. It's a rebuild, but it is frustrating to see. Tennessee reminded me a little bit of that LSU 2019 team because of the way Hooker and that offense attacked the hurry up and the up-tempo. And on 4th and 2, Josh Heupel calling the little shovel pass, perfect play call. Look, they dominated on the field, but they also dominated up in the press box with coaching.
Well, Tennessee was 3 for 3 going on 4th down, and LSU was 0 for 3. You mentioned the speed of the offense. There was going into it a lot of talk about how this offense likes to snap the ball, at 20 seconds left in the play clock. But, man, I saw a lot of plays in that first half. They were snapping with 30. It was tough to get guys in and out the field. You only have 8 seconds between blow of the whistle and snap of the next play. A lot of times defense is standing around kind of, what are we running? Tennessee did not run a complicated offense, but they run it so efficiently with Hendon Hooker, and he could always tuck it and run it. It's just impossible. If one guy makes a little mistake with doing their job, you get exposed, and it happened time and time again. LSU was not ready for the speed. It's just incredibly difficult to game plan for a team like that when they're so efficient at running their system in 3 days. You say 2019 kind of reminds you. I totally agree, because every time we got close to that red zone and the defense was kind of looking for a play, Joe Burrow was on that ball ready to snap it, and that was a lot of the same tendencies that Josh Heupel had on that offense. And I was thoroughly impressed. I thought Tennessee's, they were close against Pitt, close against Florida. A lot of people were saying, Tennessee's, they're not that good. LSU. They blew LSU out in every facet. It started with special teams, but they were better on offense, better on defense, and better on special teams. It started with coaching. Coach Brian Kelly said all leading up to the game, this is about execution, attention to details. Tennessee was very attentive to details. And what they wanted to run, they had their first scripted plays. They executed them to perfection. And then they got the bonus of having that 10-point lead to start. A lot of things went wrong for LSU to start that game, but you have to take your hat off to Tennessee. They were a very talented team that came in and executed a very good game plan to perfection and took advantage of LSU.
We talk about the nuances and learning how to coach in the SEC. I think you could tell Josh Heupel is a lot smarter coach in year 2. Brian Kelly is going to take his lumps. Look, they had 40 players when he came in here. He had to get another 35 through the transfer portal, through recruiting, and so you're playing understaffed. Now, with the new rule and unlimited scholars, as long as you don't exceed 85, they will get bigger, and that roster will get fatter and get to 85 next year. But, JP, I think it's hard for any fan. And listen, we've seen Tennessee not relative and relevant for 15 years. They played LSU in the SEC championship game in 2007. That's 15 years ago. Brian Perilou had to bring in for Matt Flynn because Flynn was hurt. LSU, of course, ended up winning the national championship as they won the SEC championship and then beat Ohio State in the Superdome. Bottom line is, folks, it's going to be a struggle each and every Saturday. You don't have a lot of margin for error. And now with these injuries, JP, I looked at it, 10 debilitating injuries like Mason Smith, on and on and on. Now you got Dellinger out for 2 weeks, major burns, and obviously Seven Banks. Armani Goodwin out with the hamstring. So, look, you already were short as far as numbers go, so the LSU fan base has got to be patient. That's not the problem the fan base has. The $64 million question is this coaching staff taking what they have, and granted it's not great talent, it's okay, it's middle of the pack, but are they coming up with the best game plans to give that football team a chance to win? And right now, when you look at the deficits and the scripted plays and the slow starts, something's got to change, JP.
We're going to take our second break of this episode of Tigers Roar. We'll come back and let you guys hear from head coach Brian Kelly. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Tigers Roar.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
The 2022 Mazda CX-5 with iActive all-wheel drive and available turbo engine. It truly ignites the senses.
Save on your new CX-5 right now during the season of discovery at Team Mazda.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Gallagher. This is Roy Fletcher. We hope you'll join us for Fletch Nation, especially if you like talking politics.
Hey, come and join us. We'll give you the information, and then we'll give you the context. And by the way, we'll give you fun, too.
Lots of fun. We hit the local races, the state. We even look at what's going on all across America. And by the way, this space is available. If you'd like to talk about advertising, send your emails to Roy Fletcher at royfletcher.com and join us every week here on the Pelican for Fletch Nation.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Hey, we continue here on Tigers Roar. Remind you guys, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. All the Tigers Roar are saved, archived there for your viewing pleasure. So go ahead and click through, find one you like, watch it through. While you're at our YouTube page, go ahead and click subscribe and click the bell so you're notified every time we drop something new here at the Pelican. But, man, back to LSU, Tennessee. 40-13 was the final. It started off raw for LSU. They were able to do some things in the passing game that we hadn't really seen so far this season from Jaden Daniels. He did throw for 300 yards, but only 55 yards rushing, and 38 of that came from Jaden Daniels. So very unbalanced, and that type of offensive output is not going to get it done against the SEC elite.
For those of you who are just tuning in, we're not trying to be cool, the Blues Brothers or whatever up here, but we have a tradition in history through the years that after a loss, we put sunglasses on. Now, once we start talking to the Saints, we'll take the glasses off. But this was a sunglasses game. And I had a buddy of mine up in Tennessee, and he was talking trash, and give them credit. They came in here. They acted like they were going to do what they did. Yep. And I think Tennessee is a real deal if they can go in and protect the football. Now, we know that Bryce Young is going to be a game-time decision. We know that Jalen Milroe is one of those run-pass option guys, and he had some turnovers. But if Tennessee protects the football, they've got a great chance of beating Alabama, and it's been a long time since they've been able to play with Alabama. Alabama, by the way, held on to beat Jimbo and Texas A&M. Kentucky lost to South Carolina. Florida struggled against Missouri. JP, a lot of parity, and I just don't know exactly how good Alabama and Georgia are. But that being said, we hope that we're not wearing sunglasses next Tuesday. We hope they find a way to beat Florida in the Swamp Saturday night.
Yeah, lots of questions about the LSU offense. How do they get going? How do they have better starts? And these are warranted questions. The offense has not looked good at times for under Coach Brian Kelly, and he does his best to field those questions right here during his Monday press conference. Here is head coach Brian Kelly.
Tennessee played well. We did not start very well. Our attention to detail, the fundamentals, clearly has to get better. We've got to coach our team better. If you look at it, it's in its entirety. A number of little things here and there. We certainly can't start the way we did, as I mentioned, in terms of spotting a really good team, 10 points. Guys battled, but again, you have to play clean against the top 10 team. We did not do that, and we got what you deserve in a game like that. If you don't play smart football, if you don't play clean, you're going to get what you deserve. So hats off to Tennessee. The great part about it is you get to flip the script and get back to work, which we do that today, and get ready for a trip to Gainesville and a very difficult place to play on the road in playing Florida, a team that also picked up a good win last week against Missouri. And, both first-year head coaches, certainly looking for consistency with their team. This is a really talented football team on offense. Clearly have an outstanding quarterback, and very similar to Hendon Hooker that we saw this weekend. Great size, strong arm, and is very dangerous. So a skilled quarterback, outstanding running backs, Johnson and Etienne, both game breakers. The strength to me on this Florida team is the offensive line. Really good offensive line, and that will be the challenge. They can run the football, and they have proven. I think they're averaging 6 yards plus running the football. So going against an excellent offensive line, we're going to have to rise to that challenge certainly. From a defensive perspective, really like the linebacker Miller, extremely athletic, big. Defensive line, I think Hill was the SEC Player of the Week, had 2 interceptions. So, a talented SEC defense. Offensively, we're going to have to be obviously much more balanced than we were. But we'll go back to work. And look, we're right. You guys will probably laugh, but we're right in the middle of our process. We're working at it every single day, and it's a journey. And I'm excited to be on it. Our guys are working hard to get better every single day, and we'll get back to work at it this week to bring more of the traits necessary. There's a lot of talent in this league. You can't just win on talent. You got to win with, playing smart and You've got to have a great attitude. You've got to have great focus, and those traits we'll keep working on, and look forward to bringing them, and we'll need to bring them to the Swamp this weekend. So, with that, we'll open up to questions.
Coach, you talked a lot back here. You talked a lot about coaching it better. How do you self-scout that part of it when you're busy and you guys are busy trying to get the game plans ready for the next week, review the last week, et cetera? How much of it can you actually implement?
Yeah, so I think it's a lot more about recognition of your players and what you can do to put them in better positions as you get a chance to know your players even more. And so I think that's where good coaching and good, assessment comes in. And then, how are they retaining knowledge, right? So, everybody learns differently. Is it walkthroughs? Is it whiteboard teaching? Is it more film study? I think we have to look at our teaching, and if it's not being retained, it falls on us as coaches, teachers, and educators to make sure it can't be just, well, he's not getting it. We have to look at and find out how can they get that and apply it and take it to the field.
First, how's Will Campbell doing, and any update on Garrett Dellinger's MRI? And then also, didn't look like Harold Perkins was used pretty sparingly. Is there any main reason for that?
3 questions in one. You did a nice job. Really, it flowed very well. Good news on Will Campbell. Had a major test this morning that he passed. I think he's going to be released here in the next hour or so. We've got one more hurdle. We think if we pass that, which we're confident, we'll see what happens, things are trending in a really positive direction for Will. So we're really pleased. Garrett's got a 2nd degree MCL. So he'll be lost for this week and most likely next week. We're really thinking that it's probably a 2-week injury for Garrett Dellinger. Perkins, look, as you guys know, we moved him to Sam linebacker. Last week was not a position where, and you know the game. The game was a spread game. You got 2 receivers that are out on the numbers. Harold would have had to be standing out on the numbers playing the game as the Sam. We nickeled out. So we were in a nickel situation. We would have had to change his position back to inside linebacker for that game. We weren't going to do that. This is a game that suits him really well. You'll see a lot of Harold Perkins this weekend.
Hi, Coach, right here. What was your reaction to Kayshon Boutte scoring his first touchdown of the season?
Yeah, you always want to see your guys do well. In particular, Kayshon, who's really trying to, do everything he can to be successful and help our team. So, yeah, you're obviously excited. You want to see more for him. But, yeah, no doubt, I think everybody was happy for him.
Brian, you mentioned just the slow starts. Obviously, that's been kind of a thing all season. What maybe we'll go into actually trying to just start faster? Is it multifaceted in a lot of different phases, or is it simply offensively getting off to a better start?
Yeah, I just wish I could give you a better answer. I thought we were prepared. The guys were excited as we were coming out to the field. I thought our preparation, I don't know that I would do anything different. We have to execute better. That's the way we started the game. We don't catch a ball that, we feel like in most instances that's a catch that, although it wasn't an easy catch, we had to go about 12 yards to get it. That's one that we normally make on a punt return. We've got guys in position. But look, it is what it is. We got off to a slow start again. We'll keep talking about how important it is, but that's execution more than being lethargic, and disinterested. That group was ready to play, but you still have to execute, and execution is in special teams, and in those 2 instances in particular, obviously it let us down.
Coach, it's a disappointing thing about Saturday when you got a home crowd and you want them to impact the game, and you kind of take them out of the game immediately with those 2 special teams mistakes.
No doubt. I think I talked to our team about it. I said, listen, one of the advantages we have is we've got a home crowd here, so let's get them working for you. But again, this is a process for our guys. We're learning. They're understanding that they have to bring more than just talent to the field, and we'll keep working at it. And what we have to do better is we have to be more purposeful, more intentional, and we'll keep working at it during the week.
Coach, down here, as far as the offense is concerned, I know you said on Saturday no one's walking through the door. I think that was your comment. Can you run more read option? Are you afraid to have the quarterback run too much? What can you do to get the offense jump-started, do you think?
Well, I mean, look, you watched the game as well as I did. Where were the problem areas? The problem areas is we moved the football between the 20s, but we didn't score in scoring zones. So if you really want to break it down, we have to be critically analyzing key third and fourth down situations and really high red zone. So, it's not really about plays as much as it's execution in those critical moments. And so really probably spending more time during the week in those critical situations in third and fourth down, and how we can support the group in that situation as well. We've got some new players on the offensive line. Maybe we have to do some more things. Maybe we can move the pocket. Maybe we have to protect with 7. Do some things like that as well. So I think it's really more about situational offense than it is adding anything. Matter of fact, I think we probably have to take some things out because we have to execute at a higher level. And maybe less is more, and maybe that's what we have to look at.
And that was head coach Brian Kelly from the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Was asked, how do you get this offense going? What do you do differently? How do you get a spark? And Coach Brian Kelly kind of said, look, it's not about adding things or changing things up. It might be about taking some things away because there might be too much going on and we're not executing well enough, the little things that we are doing. So might be a more vanilla but better executed offense against Florida. And I think that LSU fans would be okay with that, Bubman, as long as they're scoring points.
Well, we took the glasses off because now we are ready to turn the page, and we hope that all of you are having a great Tuesday afternoon as we've had an inordinate amount of dry weather, great football weather, great tailgating weather.
Yep.
And, man, I tell you what, when you talk about moving forward, yes, he said they may go to a 7-man protection. Now, that is 5 offensive linemen. That is a tight end. And that is either a running back or another tight end. 12 personnel, folks, is 2 tight ends. You may see 86 and 87 on the field and blocking. The problem is now you're limiting to having 3 wide receivers. Now, as we know, they've had trouble with separation.
Yep.
They've had trouble with drops. And not going to beat Jeray Jenkins up because I think the ball was tipped. But if he catches that ball, it's 20 to 14, and you got some momentum. As we know, on the touchdown, the booty. That was a high pass. That was a great catch. Yep. So you've got to give Jaden Daniels a little bit more that he's comfortable at. I got to ask you, because I've been inundated with it. When you watching the game, do you think Nussmeier should have got a shot? And I'll tell you this, Cabo asked him that question, and he squelched it very quickly. I don't think Nuss would do any better. Number one, he's got problems with ball security.
Exactly.
But he can't run away and doesn't have the escapability. Hell, Jaden Daniels is the best runner.
Yep.
So to me, my phone's being lit up about Nuss. I don't think Nuss is the answer. I think this is a complicated question.
Yeah.
And as we know, if you protect with 7, this is a thing that I'm watching a lot of Saturday and Sunday night football, and especially last night. Could you imagine if Brian Kelly had Kelsey on this team? He caught 4 touchdown passes at the tight end spot.
Right.
But you don't have Mahomes and Kelsey, so you got to do something. Right. But if you protect with 7, you better have one of those wide receivers get a little bit of separation in space. Here's the other thing we talked about. Pete Cardelli brought it to the table today. 34% of the offensive play calls against Tennessee were for 0 yards or negative yardage in the Tennessee game. 34% of the snaps. You didn't gain a yard or you lost yards. They've got to do a better job. And I think only time will tell us where this offensive identity and utilization of talent is going to go.
Another quick break here on Tigers Roar. We'll come back and talk a little bit more about LSU, Florida this upcoming Saturday, 6 o'clock on ESPN. The game's in Gainesville. Come back to Tigers Roar. We'll tell you a little about it. You are watching Tigers Roar. We got like 7.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
The Post on Church Point Road in Gonzales would like to invite everyone to their newly renovated events hall, a beautiful 9,600 square foot facility that features a 5,500 square foot main hall and a separate 600 square foot conference room. Renters have access to our huge kitchen, large stage, tables, chairs, bar, and covered outdoor cooking. So plan your next wedding, party, conference, and more at The Post on Church Point Road, Gonzales.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Buggs Show.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
Your favorite season is back, and now's the time you can score savings at the Team Automotive Group. You can sell your vehicle to us, and we'll pay you top value. Or buy here and get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Score VIP service and save at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
And we continue here on Tigers Roar. Jonathan Poche joined by the Budman, Buddy Songy from Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. Talking some LSU football. Dropped a game this past weekend in Tennessee. 40-13 was the final. This weekend traveling to Gainesville, Florida to take on Billy Napier and those Florida Gators. Budman, the Gators sit at 4-2. 1-2 in the conference. Did pick up a win last week against Missouri. This is a talented team that likes to run the football. Big on the offensive and defensive side of the lines. Like to control the line of scrimmage.
LSU is going to have to play man-o-man and really everybody's got to take care of their responsibility. They're not going to do anything fancy. They're going to line up. One of the things that I think you need to look for in recruiting is bigger, stronger, and more physical. JP, how many times? I asked Nick Saban one time when Jack Hunt, the first year they moved him from wide receiver to safety, he got drugged 5 yards every time he hit somebody. I said, how do you stop that? He says you use your legs, your thighs, and you explode with your low leverage, wrap up, and then drive them back. Now, it's hard when you got a 195, 200-pound guy and you got a 240-pound running back.
Right.
But how many times have you seen LSU hit somebody and they stop them and don't fall forward? So tackling, wrapping up, being physical at the line of scrimmage. Oh, by the way, ATN is a pretty darn good kid.
Yep.
And running the football. Johnson, as we know, Anthony Richardson's a big guy. You can't arm tackle, so tackling will be imperative. Getting off the field on third down. But I wish they had a few more snot knockers. Who's the most physical guy on LSU's defense?
This past week, it had to be Micah Baskersville. He led the team in tackles. He was all over the field. He was a guy who was playing with that attitude, that grit. He was talking a little bit after the snap, and I love to see that from the linebackers. You got to have that attitude. In my opinion, it's been Micah Baskersville.
And, of course, as we said, boy, you talk about a great performance from the LSU O-line against New Mexico. Well, guess what? Tennessee did the same thing to LSU.
Sure did.
One quarterback hurry, 0 sacks,
Yep.
1 TFL. They did not get in the backfield. And so now you've got to be aggressive. Matt House, I didn't think he had the greatest of game plans. When the analyst can draw the big circle in the middle of the secondary,
Yep.
and it's like a boxer hitting a bloody eye. I mean, they kept attacking. It didn't make a lot of adjustments. And so Harold Perkins needs to be on the field more. Obviously, you got to free up Ozier Lowry. I can tell you this, Ali Gay actually had one of his better games. He
Yep.
had 5 tackles. But this thing is going to go down to the wire, and we know that Florida has not been impressive. Look, they beat Utah, but they were lucky to beat some other teams, including Missouri, last weekend in the Swamp.
LSU, 6 o'clock kickoff in Gainesville against Florida. It's also been announced that the next week when they take on Ole Miss at Tiger Stadium. It's a 2:30 kickoff at CBS. There's also some news dropping today before we get off of the LSU topic. I want to go ask Alan to go ahead and put that Instagram post by former LSU cornerback Eli Ricks, who now plays for the enemy down there in Tuscaloosa for the Crimson Tide. Scrubbed his social media of all Alabama content and posted him in the LSU uniform today on his Instagram. So I got to pose the question to you, Bud Man. If Eli Ricks wants to come back, do you take him as LSU?
Brian Kelly and LSU took the trash out last year. They've got a saying, graduate champions. That guy's a cancer. That guy held LSU hostage. That guy can't play a lick, but he can talk. The audacity of what he was saying on Twitter when he went to Alabama, now he's not playing because Nick Saban don't put up with all that BS. There's no way him or Eric Gilbert or all these other head cases are going to come. The locker room, the culture has all changed. So, Eli, sorry, baby. You've been in the garbage can. You're a punk. You're trash. And LSU doesn't want you around. So, quit dreaming. You're not coming back to Baton Rouge.
Well, tell us how you really feel, Bud, man. We'll take another quick break here on Tigers Roar. We'll come back, talk some NFL, some New Orleans Saints who finally get off their schneid, pick up a big win at home against Seattle Seahawks. Don't go anywhere. We have one more segment left on Tigers Roar.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
And we continue here on Tigers Roar, last segment of this show. Of course, we'll just ask Alan, whenever you have the chance, Bud, just go ahead and run those highlights of the Saints game. We'll start the conversation, Bud, man. 39-32 was the final. Seattle came into the Superdome. Of course, Geno Smith, now the quarterback for the Seahawks. Pete Carroll, still the head coach, but it was going to be a gritty, dirty game. The offense for the Seattle Seahawks, not the best in the league, and the Saints are always struggling, so we'll get those highlights up for you. It starts off right here. Will Lutz starts off the score, and been some great long kicks in the NFL this season. But, man, that was for 56. Gets the Saints on the board 3-0. But Seattle comes back down, and these are all Saints highlights. So this is going to be a good play on defense by Cam Jordan, who really got his game going this week.
Cam Jordan really played well. He had been kind of quiet so far, and here we go, the star of the game, Taysom Hill, getting the first down, and they really leaned on him all through the weekend. He played like a number 7 supposed to play.
That's right. Andy Dalton was starting quarterback. He went 16 of 24 with 187 and 1 touchdown. Taysom Hill did spell him. He had 1 completion for the touchdown to Adam Troutman for 22 yards, but on the ground, Taysom Hill, 9 carries, 112 yards. That's a 12.4 average. 3 touchdowns on the ground for number 7.
Really good vision to get in. He's physical. He's a big man, about 230, and he runs 4.4.
He also, was snapping kicks and changing tires on the bus on the way. He just did everything for the Saints. It was really Taysom Hill and Cam Jordan all game for the Saints. Here was an odd play. The punter thought he was going to run it or kick it or something, but Saints get the ball. Great turnover right here. 10-10 in the game right before halftime.
And they were asking him on the sidelines, what was he doing? And I don't think he knew what he was doing. He had a brain fart there. His Hill walks in once again. Boy, if LSU had a Taysom Hill, he'd be getting plenty of opportunities.
Yeah, and there's a rumor going around Twitter that Sean Payton, the coach for the Saints, actually texted Mickey Loomis, general manager for the Saints, and said, look, if you're uncomfortable with that $10 million a year salary for Taysom Hill, just give it to me in a couple years when I'm coaching somewhere else. Look, Sean Payton loved Taysom Hill, and this is exactly why. I can do so much for your football team.
Yeah, they paid him a lot of money, and, of course, he gets more money when he plays quarterback. Here's a guy that a lot of people ever since he got his big money, hasn't performed. Has Camaro done what you thought he would do once he got the big contract?
I think he's been banged up a little more than his Saints have been leaning towards this season, or at least allowing other people to know. He's been out a couple weeks with those ribs, and, ribs are tough to play with, Bud, man, especially when you're getting hit as a running back. Saints defense did enough. They did have a couple turnovers on offense, but here they are taking the ball away right here. I tell you, he's been flashing. I'm really a big fan. Number 20 right there, Pete Werner for the Saints, been outstanding all season.
One of my favorite guys. Look, we always love 56, but here once again is Chris Olave. I was happy that they replayed this and he got the touchdown, but if you had him on fantasy football, he got you one score. You can see, though, this is a concussion once again. Oh, by the way, the NFL having a lot of controversy with quarterbacks who are getting in the grasp and thrown to the ground. And as we know, a big one with Brady and a big one last night. Controversy on what They're going to be playing touch football in 10 years, JP.
That's right. With the whole Tua situation going on in the NFL, they've swung it totally the opposite way. Now they're just calling everything on the quarterback. Here's Dino Smith trying to find something deep. But no, the Saints defense did a great job on the receivers. Marshawn Lattimore absolutely locked up DK Metcalf. Outside of one play where Marshawn Lattimore actually fell down, he did a great job on the big wide receiver, number 14.
No doubt. Once again, what do you think the Redheads done so far? And here's a perfect thing. This is where the healthy Alvin Kamara would take this to the house. This is why I don't think he's 100%.
Right, agreed.
But what do you think of Andy Dalton in his play? And do you want to see Jameis come back and start, or do you want to have the Redheads start?
No, I would let the right rifle just run with it. Keep bringing in Taysom Hill. Let Jameis Winston, I should say, get healthy, hopefully for a deeper run in the playoff or a playoff run deeper in the season. Red Rifle, I think he's done great. I mean, you talk about 16 for 24, 187, did have an interception, but also had the touchdown. Managing the game, which kind of is all the Saints need a quarterback to do with, a healthy Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill when he can do things like this. It makes it a lot easier for the offense. Here the Saints are down by 1 point, trying to go down and grind out a score, but he busted for a 3rd and 1 big-time run to give the Saints the lead late in this game. 230
pounds and to run like that. Also made sure he had both hands on the football.
Yep.
He can feel the pressure. Folks, you see it every Sunday. This guy is going to try and knock the football out of his hands. Hill changes it from the right hand to the left hand, gets in the end zone for the score.
And he did a great job. Here the Saints are trying to go for the 2-point conversion and get it right here, Mark Ingram. That puts him up by 7. Saints 39, Seahawks 32. The Saints now win their second game of the season. Kind of getting some things moving along. Been thin on the defense, but, man, losing C.D. Deuce to the Eagles looks even worse now that Alontae Taylor's out, Marcus May's out. You have P.J. Williams playing way too much football for that defense.
And the Honey Badger is on the back end of his career. Look, we all love number 32, but he is not going to put his helmet in there and take physical abuse. Now, he's still going to be smart, still going to know what's going on, still going to tip a ball and get an INT. But this weekend, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and all the Bengals come into the Superdome. I think it's going to be a great crowd, and it should be a fun game.
Going to have a lot of LSU jerseys in the crowd, I can guarantee it. Those Saints fans that kind of want to pull for the Bengals because it's been a down year so far for the Saints, and they love their Bayou Bengals and Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. And that is going to do it for us here on Tigers Roar. I'll get through this close, Bud, man. For everybody here at the Pelican, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. For our floor director, Marty, and our director in the truck, Alan, driving the bus by himself. Done a great job for us the past 4 weeks. Certainly appreciate you in the truck, AT. Certainly appreciate you tuning in out there in TV land. Also around. Check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Saints and the Gators in the Swamp this weekend. Big game for Brian Kelly. We look forward to talking to you about it next week. You've been watching Tigers Roar.